with a name like 5 Easy Hot Dogs, I expected this to be 5 tracks named after hot dogs, like chili dog, we got corn dog, we got 5 Easy Hot Dogs by Mac Demarco. This is the new little mini album. It came out yesterday, and I'm going to give it a listen here for the first time. Have not heard this thing yet, have not touched it with my little ears, but I'm going to do so today. And in the spirit of Mac DeMarco, I thought I would avoid the hi-fi. I'm just going to go with these little earbuds, these little state-of-the-art, I think it's like Apple or something. There are people where you say they don't need any introduction, and then you introduce them anyway, but I'm not going to introduce Mac DeMarco. You know the guy. Come on, this guy is an indie staple at this point. You gotta know Mac. So let's listen to this thing. Let's go through this. We've got tracks named after cities. I've heard that this is a road trip album, that he brought a bunch of gear in a van and just started recording in random places. He went up from California into Canada and then back down to Utah. So there's cities along the whole route there. Very excited to listen to this one. I like Mac DeMarco. I didn't love his last album. It was a little on the simple side for me, but I really thought he hit a peak with another one, that little EP or other mini album. And then This Old Dog, or is it My Old Dog? My Old Man? Something like that. This Old Dog, I'm pretty sure, right? All right, here we go. First track, Gualala. Kind of a tough one to say for me, to be honest. I have no idea really what to expect, except that I know it's instrumental. So far I'm loving the simplicity of it. I like the sort of jazzy guitar chords, very stripped back. We got a drum machine sort of sound, very cold drum machine, which is typical of Mac's music. And I love the little guitar riffing and just kind of the breeziness of it. It feels like some Balearic type electronic slacker indie thing. So let's keep going. One track in here, and the recording feels very minimal in kind of classic Mac fashion, like he's not trying too hard, but also really crisp. Like I can hear every single instrument perfectly well. So he's got this recording thing down, and even on the road. All right, we're on the third track. This one's called Crescent City. I really like this so far. It's kind of right at my alley. It's very low key. You know, there's not too much as far as themes to grab onto because there aren't lyrics. And I just like the melodies. I like the chord movements. So I'm hoping for more of the same, and let's see. Ooh, okay, all right. These little synth flourishes on the song Portland, the first one. I love them. They're really cool. Weird. Portland 2, this one's probably the most upbeat so far. Kind of this recorder flute type of sound in there. I like the guitar. He's a good guitarist. This is cool. Reminds me a lot of like Bibio, some of his more recent albums, the more very, very stripped back stuff, very minimal. Portland 2, that was cool. That was a funky little track there. Oh yeah, breaking out the claves. Gotta have them. Just gotta have them. Yeah, everything about this screams claves, so obvious choice. Okay, so I'm about halfway. I'm enjoying it so far, probably more than I thought I would. It's definitely missing the personality of Mac's voice. I think he has a lot going for him in that respect. But I really like kind of the Bibio sounds I'm getting. It reminds me of bands like Dead Star, or more of an artist, Dead Star. Holy Drug Couple, you know, kind of that just drugged out sort of psychedelic, very minimal, low-key electronic sort of thing, but with guitar as the centerpiece. I like the layers of guitar that he's throwing on top of each other. Then I really like just these synth flourishes in there, just these little highlights here and there. He's layering harmonies, and it's very rich harmonically, so enjoying that. You know, obviously not a lot of energy here. It's not like hitting you hard. It's not, there's not any pounding rhythms or anything, but texturally and harmonically, very nice. I'm on the song Edmonton, and it's continuing here. You got all these little wood blocks and What's that little frog called that you do this on? It's probably not a frog everywhere, but in my music classroom in 5th grade, it was a little toad and it had the ridges on the back. Mac is really transporting us into his carefree state on this one. Like he's got this mellow thing. Edmonton too. All right, he didn't go to Utah. I don't know where I got that, but he went up into Canada and then over, and then Chicago's in here, so it must have went down, and then Rockaway. I think that's New Jersey. Chicago's got a little more jump to it. It's got a little more nightlife. Ooh, Chicago too. He's getting tricky with those synths. There it is, folks. There's the album. This album's definitely a left turn for him, you know, without the vocals, and just the styling is so minimal and so sort of improv feeling. But I really like it. I generally like this sort of guitar with a little bit of jazz to it, mixed with really low-key electronic music with like drum pads and stuff. So this was my thing. Like I said, it reminded me of Holy Drug Couple. It reminded me of Bibio. It reminded me of an album that I think deserves a lot more attention, which is Baby Teeth by Dead Star. And it's actually that piece that bothers me about this record a little bit, which is Mac DeMarco's fame, his notoriety, his presence and his fan base. They're going to get him views on this record. And I don't know if this album, for what it is, necessarily deserves that. I think there are a lot, probably more interesting albums in this vein. I don't want to hate on this record, though, because I did enjoy it. And I'm sure with repeated listens, I'm going to just continue hearing layers and textures and different pieces. And that's a big point that I want to make as well, is that texturally and harmonically, I think this one was more interesting in that respect than it was melodically. You know, I didn't hear very many lead lines in there. I was listening for melodies that would stick with me, and I didn't hear a lot of that. And I think it's because he's going for more of mood and more of texture and feeling and vibe than he is necessarily that compositional aspect of crafting a great song. So I would love to hear more of this from Mac, and I'd love to hear him incorporate more melody into this thing. With that being said, I don't think his music has ever been that strong in that regard. I think it has always been more about vibe. And so I'm okay with that. I, again, enjoy it for what it is, and I'm going to listen to this record a lot more probably. So I think my favorite moments were those first few tracks, which is really interesting as well, because I know he didn't sequence this album. You know, he just went on a trip, and the tracks are chronological from the places he went. It's not like he put them together, you know, with that in mind. So it's interesting that those first few tracks really hit me and felt like the most interesting. And maybe it's just because the sound was fresh at that point in the listening experience, whereas as it went on, it kind of bled together a little bit like wallpaper. But overall, I did enjoy this record quite a bit. So I hope you did too, and I hope you can like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of thing. I'm starting 2 series now where I'm doing albums that made me, where I'm digging into past albums that are essential in my taste and upbringing and things. And then I'm doing this where I'm just going to listen to albums and react, just like I did now. Beyond that, I'm going to do new music wrap-ups at the end of each month, and then maybe some other things here and there, maybe some collaborative videos and stuff. So again, hope you enjoyed, and as always, thank you so much for watching.